Greetings, traveler.
That has potential. I don't think it's like crazy, but that's potentially okay. The thing is, you don't really want to float mana, but once again, depending on where it's bucketed and how fast or slow the meta is, that has potential. Basically, Mana Tide? No, right? Mana Tide, you can spend your mana. This you need to deliberately play off curve. I don't think it's as good as a Mana Tide. But I guess we'll see, right? So yeah, that's the current assessment, not as good as Mana Tide. Overflow, restore 5 health to all characters, draw 5 cards. Alright, let's look at that. All characters, that's my opponent's face, that's my opponent's minions, draw 5 cards. So essentially, sprint, heal everything. It basically costs 3. No, it costs like 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6, right? Because you have to float mana. Overflow, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Right now doesn't look too crazy. I guess it depends a little bit, right? Yeah. It's gonna be very deck. The thing is, it's also meta dependent, right? Like, can you get away with this, right? That's the question. Because let's say priest becomes dominant and we have the psychic scream meta again, right? This is pretty sweet because sometimes you don't want to develop anything into a scream, and then this is great, right? You get to just draw 5. So, but yeah, I think it's this card's pretty meta dependent whether you have time to do this and whether you want to do this. All right. Hidden Oasis. Choose one. Summon a 6/6 ancient with taunt or restore 12 health. Yeah, that's very playable in Arena. A 6/6 with taunt is gonna be okay, and then 12 health is gonna be like 1 in 20 times you want to heal with it, I think, right? So it seems fine. Garden Gnome, 4 mana, 2/3, Battlecry. If you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, summon 2/2 trends. So yeah, we've already seen 2 cards, right? With spell that costs 5 or more. And then these guys are in. I don't like this condition, so I don't like the card for now. But I guess we'll see how, with the micro adjustments, the set bonus, we'll see how likely it is you have those cards. But instinctively, it doesn't really look all that. Oasis Surger, 5 mana, 3/3, Rush. Choose one. Gain +2/2, or summon a copy of this minion. Whoa, that looks super flexible. So 5 mana for a 5/5 rush. That's good, right? If you pay 5 mana for a 5/5 rush, that is good. And now you can choose to summon 2 3/3 rushers as well. That's actually really, yeah, that's super playable. Because flexibility is always good, right? And a 5 mana 5/5 by default is playable. A 5/5 with rush is good. 2 3/3s with rush can be better than a 5/5 with rush. So that's, yeah, that's solid. That's really, really solid. Okay, because you're very happy to play the Hunter one. You're very happy to pay 6 mana for the 5/5 rush. It's a twin spell, right? But it's not too slow. So 5/5, you get 1 mana cheaper, no twin spell. Bees! Choose a minion. Summon 4/1/1 bees that attack it. Alright, so 3 mana deal 4, but gets rid of Divine Shield, gets rid of Reborn and stuff. That's really flexible, so it's like a Shadow Bolt that can be used to develop if you shoot something that has less health. And then you have a spread for buffs, but we'll have to see how many buffs are in and if Druid's going to play that way. Can you combine it with a buff? I mean, you can and you can't, right? The first wave you can't, but the survivors you can. All right, as long as you have board space. Yeah, that's going to be a board space thing, right? You're going to have to keep that in mind, like, oh, I need to have 4 spaces open. All right, Worthy Expedition. Discover, choose 1 card. That's... I have to see which choose 1 cards are in. So Hidden Oasis is going to be a new one. Oasis Surge is going to be a new one. We used to have Raven Idol. And this reminds me a little bit of Raven Idol. But, you know, not entirely, right? Raven Idol, there was more variance on. I think overall it's probably playable. A lot of the choose ones are fairly good. So, once again, super bucket dependent, right? I don't think you want to draft this very highly in a bucket, but if it's in the lower bucket, it's probably pretty pickable. All right, and this is the 6/6 with taunt, and this is the B. Okie dokie. Hunter cards. All right, quest doesn't matter because we're playing Arena. Dino Tamer Bran. Oh, let me actually change my title, right? We're no longer after the run. Full card review for Arena. Here we go. Discover Raven Idol forehead. Right. Dino Tamer Bran, Battlecry. If your deck has no duplicates, summon King Crush. I mean, it's always the same with the Reno cards, right? This is an actual good condition, though, right? It's not like the, oh, if your deck contains no harm, could duplicate your hand. In Arena, that's like whatever, right? Getting a King Crush, right, on a stick is pretty funny. But most of the time, it really depends when you get this offered in the draft. You need to get it later in the draft when you don't have duplicates and it's like maybe okay. But if you pick it early, you might have to skip so many good cards. So depends a bit, right? As usual, deck dependent. Wild Bloodstinger, Battlecry, summon a minion from your opponent's hand and attack it. So yeah, there's been a lot of talk about this card, I think, right? When it got revealed. So we're talking about it for Arena purposes, not for constructed purposes. I guess it depends how you can build Hunter. If you can build a slightly slower Hunter, this is kind of okay to starve them out, but most of the time, what are you going to pull, right? A 4 or 5 power minion? It's sort of that whole Hecklebot-esque feeling again, right? So you pull a 4 power minion, you get a 6/5 for 6. That's a Lord of the Arena without taunt, but your opponent did lose their minion. And you can high roll it. You can also low roll it, right? You can definitely low roll it. From the first look at it, right? It doesn't look like crazy. Just because you're always going to have that like, oh, am I going to low roll it? Because there's like people are going to draft the Anubisat guy, right? That one I've seen. The one that is like really slow but has 9 power. That's so nasty, right? Or this can pull a Basilisk. This can pull a Gastropod. So yeah, I don't think it's crazy at all. I think it's that Hecklebot gamble issue make, right? Hecklebot gamble you make. Dino Tamer is completely OP. Well, constructing a deck that has no duplicates in Arena, it can make it significantly weaker. Yeah, so after evaluating the card, this does not look good. Because on average, it's going to be bad for tempo and decent-ish for value because you make them discard a card. But then there's the low rolls where you sort of insta-lose, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't think you want to draft this when you're a good player. If you have a low average and you want to meme around and make some people rage, right? It's kind of like Hecklebot. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna be good. All right, Scarlet Webweaver, 6 mana 5/5. Battlecry, reduce the cost of a random beast in your hand by 5. I don't like those cards. I mean, yeah, in the right deck, maybe, right? But it's a 6-drop that's not gonna reinforce the board that well. And if I don't have the right deck for it, it's not gonna do much on average, so doesn't look that good. Swarm of Locusts. Summon 7 1/1 Locusts with Rush. Oh my god. They're going for the Locust Rush meme this expansion, right? Lots and lots of Rush coming out. This seems strong. You should net cheat mana. Yeah, I mean, if it happens, right? If it happens. So, yeah, I mean, if you can make the deck for it, obviously it's good. But the way how I rate cards for Arena is on average how good they are. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you get the deck for this can be really good. But that's the thing, right? If you get the deck for it. So, a lot of the time, you're going to have stuff on your board, right? So, I think most of the time, this is 6 to 5 Locusts. How much do you like that? It's like a full Unleash the Hounds, but you pay twice the mana and they can't go phase. If you talk about it like that, it doesn't look that amazing, right? I guess it's gonna look... So, I guess we have to talk about it in terms of the Reborn mechanic, right? Being able to snipe those Reborn guys. Because for anyone who doesn't know yet, the new mechanic this set will be Reborn. It's essentially Redemption, right? They spawn with 1 health if a minion has Reborn. So you could almost think about it as they have Divine Shield or they have a built-in Redemption. You have Hyena? Yeah, this with Hyena, but then you're already talking 8 mana or the Hyena needs to stick, right? Yeah, I don't know yet. Doesn't look that great right now, but could surprise me. Hyena Alpha. If you control a secret, summon 2 2/2 hyenas. The first thing I thought was like, did they make this look like Crypt? I don't know, man. Looks so weird, right? Oh, man. All right. Couldn't help myself. All right, let's... All right. I'm probably going to be annoyed by this because I'm not going to want to proc the secret, and then this is going to make me proc the secret. I don't know. I think it's one of those cards that I'm not really going to use that often, but my opponents are, and I'm going to be annoyed by it when it works. All right. What the hell? Ramkahan? Ramkahan? How do I pronounce this? Ramkahan? Ramkahan? Wild Tamer. Battlecry. Copy a random beast in your hand. Oh. So when I started to look at the text, I was like, this is going to be... Oh, it's a 3 mana 4/3. That's good, right? That's really good. Yeah, okay. Any time you have an acceptable stat line like this with a potential really good effect, that's really good. You say Wild Tamer. Ah, thank you. Appreciate it. That's the one I was struggling with. Yeah, this looks good. This looks good. 3 mana 4/3 with that upside. Yeah, that could be really strong. Hunter's Pack. All right, this one I couldn't get around. When it came out, everybody was losing their shit. Add a random hunter, beast, secret, and weapon to your hand for 3 mana. So for 3 mana, we're drawing 3 cards, sort of, right? We're generating them, not quite drawing. This is gonna, yeah, depending on how common this is going to make Hunter kind of an interesting build, right? You could go for this weird attrition Hunter, because that is a ton of value out of one card. Gladiator's Longbow is evergreen, right? It's always in, so that's always going to be one of the bigger cards you can hit. I don't think there's a lot of really bad Hunter cards. Even getting the thing for free, right? The Candle Shot is back. Even getting Candle Shots for free is pretty good. So the weapon's going to be pretty big, I think, most of the time. Piranha Launcher's not in, I think, right? Yeah, Hunter weapons in general are pretty good. Desert Spear. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 locust with Rush. Whoa. So 3 mana for a 2/3 weapon. That's sort of playable in the arena. And this one has a lot of flexibility because a 2/3 weapon, a lot of the time, will kill Divine Shields, kill 1 HP guys. Every time you use this for 1 damage, you get to keep a 1/1 on your board. 3 mana's too expensive. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. Just imagine every time you have a 2 damage weapon you need to hit a shield with or a 1 health minion, you get the 1/1, right? It's good. It's very good. People that say that this is too expensive is crazy. This looks good. Yeah, I mean, imagine if it's 2 mana, right? Like, holy shit. All right, anyways. Pressure Plate. New secret. After your opponent casts a spell, destroy a random enemy minion. Holy shit. So, Catrick. That's going to cause for some Monka-esque situations. But I think, all in all, it's not something I'm going to be drafting. Because your opponent can manipulate it, right? If they're good at it, they can wait. They can try to get a lackey down or anything like that. So I think rarely it might be like, oh, it could be Pressure Plate, right? When you're playing against it, it could be Pressure Plate. But I think most of the time it's really not that good. All right, these are the tokens. Okie dokie. All right, Mage cards. Yeah, this one, the Reno cards I saw. So yeah, this is whatever, right? It's a 6 mana 4/6. Those aren't good stats, but if the effect goes off, it's a good minion, of course. So, but I don't think the effect is as huge as getting the King Crush. So, yeah, I mean, you know, right? Like, yeah, it's obviously a good card if it goes off. So it depends on how many duplicates do you have at the time this is offered. Puzzle Box of Yoxeron. Oh my god, this is the new card you guys are gonna want me to draft, right? Cast 10 random spells. Targets chosen randomly. Yay. All right. Moving on. Tertolan Pilgrim. 8 mana 5/5. Battlecry. Discover a copy of a spell in your deck and cast it with random targets. This is... So, if the meta is slow enough, you have the big turtle, right? The 8 mana 5/4. Discover a spell and then cast it randomly. This is an 8 mana 5/5, so it's already better statted. And you discover a copy of a spell in your deck, so you have more control over it. Depending on the deck, right? This could be super playable. Like if you have 2 Flame Strikes in your deck, this, right? Suddenly it's, let me close the door. All right, moving on. Dune Sculptor. 3 mana 3/3. All right, next. After you cast the spell, add a random mage minion to your heart. Oh, yeah, that's not something I like, but I guess we have to look at how bad 3/3s are gonna be. I'd walked up a puzzle box in the algorithm, and it had an insanely high score. Wow. It should be a mage spell. No, then you could keep going, right? Then you just spell. Because you have the crow, the one that spawns 2 drops every time you cast the spell. It's so hard to make it work. Arcane Flak Mage. 2 mana 3/2. After you play a secret, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. That's going to be annoying. It's going to depend on the bucket, right? But Piggy is going to be out, Rocket is going to be out, Horse Rider is going to be out, so It's gonna be weird, but 2-mana 3/2s might be good again, right? We'll have to see. One of the spells, what if one of the spells is Puzzle Box? I'm guessing you just keep going, right? I'm guessing keep going. Naga Sandwich. Sandwich. Change the cost of spells in your hand to 5. 5-mana 5/5. Yeah. Once again, deck dependent, right? I don't think it's like a huge card or anything. Cloud Prince, 5-mana 4/4, Battlecry. If you control a secret, deal 6 damage. Yeah, this is... People are going to go all in on the secret shenanigans. I think most of the time, the secret shenanigans, it just makes it more annoying for me. Because I don't like the secret shenanigans. And most of the time, it's not going to work. And then when it works, I'm going to be annoyed. But they also introduced SI Infiltrator recently. And I don't know what kind of secret hate is going to be... it's going to be in the rotation. There might not be any. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm usually not a big fan of the secret memes. Flame Ward. Yeah, this thing. Okay. After the minion attacks your hero, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. Oh. So, Explosive Trap for mages, right? Not much more to be said. Explosive Trap for mages. Explosive Trap is probably better in Mage than it is in Hunter. First of all, this thing deals 3, not 2. After, though? Yeah, okay. So, you attack with the biggest boy, and then it's Vape, and then debate it, right? Honestly, what this reminds me more of is Mirror Force when I would play Yu-Gi-Oh! If you guys aren't in defense mode, they're dead. Alright. Ancient Mysteries. Draw a secret from your deck. It costs 0. Yeah. Once again, in the right deck, playable, but most of the time you probably don't want it, right? Because then you need... Well, the thing for this to be good is you need to draft secrets. And I don't want to draft secrets. So it's just... I don't know, man. It's very specifically... Like, Bear Trap I'm okay with, right? And in the right kind of Hunter deck. Some of the Mage secrets sometimes in the right deck. But most of the time I'm not too impressed, so... Moving on. Gone Like Neon, thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back. Welcome back. It doesn't attack face. Yeah, but as a mage, you're usually not too worried. But it's true. It's not just Explosive Trap, right? Explosive Trap deals damage face and prevents the damage you take. Sir Finley of the Sands. If your deck has no duplicates, discover an upgraded hero power. That's super pickable, but once again, buckets, right? If this is in a high bucket, probably don't care. Summon 7 Murlocs from your deck. All right, that's constructed, not arena. Micro Mummy. At the end of your turn, give another random friendly minion +1 attack, and it has Reborn. So we can compare this to the 2-mana 1/2 Stealth Divine Shield guy, sort of, right? Not entirely, but then it has a Swordsmith effect. Master Swordsmith is pickable depending on, you know, deck and bucket, and this thing has Reborn on it. So it's like if Swordsmith would be a 1/2 Divine Shield. So yeah, once again, buckets, right? Depending on the bucket, depending on your deck, pickable for sure. It's also a mech. I think that's gonna be less important, right? The mech memes are rotating out. Pharaoh's Blessing. Give a minion +4/+4 Divine Shield and Taunt. Oh my god. So now both Spike Rich Steed and Pharaoh's Blessing are going to be in. Leaving a minion up into Paladin's turn 6 is going to be so monk-ass. And then they were going to Steed something, and then you can't kill it, and then they Blessing it. So... one of the things that helps combat this is poison is coming back, right? There's going to be basilisks. There's going to be gastropods. So it's going to depend on how well you can get the board with Paladin as usual, right? I find it hard to predict these cards. If you can consistently get something to stick, yeah, sure. It has Divine Shield. What does poison do? First, I kill your shield, and then I use my Basilisk to kill your thing. Right? So I'm saying if you go Steed and then you make it bigger and then I play a poison and you don't have an answer, you're like... Alright, anyways. Solhead's Pride, 3 mana, 3/1. Death Rattle, draw 2 1 health minions from your deck. No, right? Not unless your deck is specifically tailored for it, and even then, I'm not sure. Brazen Zealot. Whenever you summon a minion, gain +1 attack. Yeah, that looks super playable, right? 1 mana, 2/1 with upside. 4 mana, 4/2, Lifesteal Reborn. Compare it to Traveling Healer, which is a 3/2 Divine Shield. You get to restore 3 health somewhere. So I guess this could be annoying versus, you know, faster decks if they're trying to rush you down. Heal 8, deal 8. Yeah, but you might be dealing 8 damage to a face, or, well, 4 to a face if it's a rogue, or a mage might ping you off, or a 1/1's gonna, like, it's not deal 8, right? Sand Wasp Queen, Battlecry. Add 2 2/1 Sand Wasps to your hand. Oh, it's 2 mana. I thought it was 3 mana. That seems pretty playable, right? Yeah. We've learned from Acorn Bearer that getting 1/1s to spend is pretty sweet, and this one gives you 2/1s. It reminds you of the 5/1 Death Rattle, summon a 5/1, but with 4 damage and lifesteal. 5 or 4 is a huge deal though, right? 5 or 4, it's such a huge breaking point, 5 or 4. I think I definitely want the 5/1 over this guy. Anyways. Set a minion's attack and health to 1. Oh. That's just straight up Paladin removal. That's polymorph, right? Sort of. Polymorph without getting around to death rattles. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it this way, it doesn't look too impressive, and you're like, oh, kind of like polymorph for 2 mana. All right, yeah. I think the main problem with these cards is knowing when you have too many situational cards, right? You're drafting 3 Subdues, 4 Pharaoh's Blessing, 2 Spikeridge Steed, and then you're like, right, minions. I was supposed to have minions. I think that's a problem with Paladin a lot of the time, when people have, you know, sick Paladin decks that they think, and then they go 4 wins, like, what happened? And then they don't have any minions. So that's probably going to be the thing you look out for when you're drafting Paladin. Get a good curve, right? Get good minions, and then add some of the bullshit on top of it. Don't just have bullshit, because bullshit on its own usually isn't enough. I'm actually going to take one moment, guys. I'm going to get something to drink, because I'm going to be talking a lot. But yeah, I think that something we can already see from all these cards is the classes that can ping are going to have a big advantage, right? So Rogue and Mage, definitely up there. Druid is probably not going to be too bad either. And depending on how fast it is, it's like prefer Mage, prefer Rogue. Might be prefer Mage. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see. This is going to be so hype, right? We're going to test so much. I'm going to try to keep a good schedule. And I'm going to try not to play too much. But to have a really good... this is going to be my strategy for, you know, launch, right? Because last time I played like... Out of the first 24 hours, I played 19 hours. And that, you know, that just wasn't quality practice anymore. So at the start, I think I'm going to try to just have high uptime, but just enough rest well divided. So just play a lot, but be disciplined about it, right? Rest on time and then make sure I can keep playing a lot. All right, anyways. Quick BRB, and then we're going to continue with the priest cards. So I already put them here. I think the crazy stuff is going to happen when I get the neutrals, right? I think a lot of the crazy stuff's in the neutrals. That looks insane. Whenever you summon a minion, set its health equal to this minion's. That's kind of like Lady in White, but good. Oh, man. Lady in White, but good. Yeah, I'm assuming this is going to be bucketed very high. It's a legendary, so it shouldn't have too high of an impact, but Lady in White was sort of like the meme pick, but yeah, High Priest the Met. That's because this that's a Snapjaw. A Snapjaw is playable on curve, and then a Snapjaw with taunt is good, and then a Snapjaw with taunt, if you can't kill it, it fucking destroys you. That's really good. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Plague of Death. Silence and destroy all minions. Oh man, I'm gonna have so much. I'm gonna test everything. Oh shit. I look at this card and I'm like, wow, this is like you can go so like nasty control with this shit. Just yeah, those are gonna be interesting. This is not gonna be good for my average because I'm gonna draft such weird decks that probably won't work, but it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, yeah, I mean the card is there, right? Like silence and destroy all minions. So it's like twisting nether in priest for 9 instead of 8, but you can play around it with death rattles. So then we have to see if priest can make it work, because priest is a difficult class to make work. It's just, I think by default a little bit behind in the arena, but when priest is good, it's super nasty. All right, anyways, moving on. I mean, yeah, there's not that much more to say about this card, right? It's like 9 mana better twisting nether. Twisting nether isn't great if you can't make the deck for it, but priest is already more of a twisting nether class than Warlock is, funny enough. So I have to see with Scream and Hysteria. Also, that's why card reviews are so difficult right now. It's like, depends on the bucket, right? If they over bucket it, if they under bucket it. So because if you look at Scribe, right? You look at Scribe, you look at Henchclan Hawksteed. Those cards are great, but if they were bucketed higher, they wouldn't be as meta defining because not everyone would have a bunch of them. So the buckets sort of decided that Scribe and Piggy, they were going to become sort of our meta cards. Delron Crusader as well. Those cards are under bucketed, so it's it's very much up to Blizzard where they're going to put the cards. That's going to decide which are the cards we're going to be seeing a lot. So let's think of other 4 mana cards that summon something. The first thing that comes to mind is Dragonling Mechanic, right? A 4 mana card that summons something, but what's a better card that summons something for 4? Help me out here, chat. A 4 mana card that summons something. I want to compare some stats. Silverhand Knight's a 5 mana card. Shredder doesn't really summon something, that's a death rattle. Barnes summons a 1/1. Oh, Mire Keeper. Yeah, Mire Keeper was playable, right? So Mire Keeper's playable. And for 4 mana, you make a 3/3 that summons a 2/2. This thing is a 3/1, but it summons something that died this game and gives a reborn. So let's say this resurrects a River Croc. Play this, but I don't think you want to play it on curve, right? I think this is one of those cards that can be played on curve if you really need to, but you want to just hold it and give it a chance to high roll and play it on turn 7 or 8 or something. I think that's probably that kind of a card. A card you're going to be pretty happy to draft in a slow value priest because it's going to be something to do with your mana on turn 4, but you would like to play it in the late game. You're not sad if you top deck this later, right? So yeah, I think in general, not like an amazing card, but for the kind of priest I have in mind, it's probably pretty decent. Wretched Reclaimer. Battlecry, destroy a friendly minion, then return it to life with full health. 3 mana 3/3. That's scary, right? That's sort of scary. So to begin with, it restores it to full health. But if you buff the minion, that won't count anymore. So you can't first pump it with Temple Enforcer, Powered Shield, and then get it back to full health. It will kill it first. But you can use it to pop death rattles, and there's going to be no shortage of death rattles this set because there's so many reborn cards. So yeah, this looks good. Yeah, that looks like a very, very playable 3/3. You guys know I'm not very high on the 3/3s. They might be a bit better this set. I first have to still, like, we can do all of that later, right? Later we're gonna look at the specific curve slots and see if certain stat lines are better or worse. But yeah, this is gonna be pretty decent regardless of whether 3/3s are gonna be good. All right, Grand Mummy. Oh, Blizzard. All right, 2-mana 1/2, Reborn. Death Rattle, give a friendly minion. Ooh. Oh, that's dirty, right? Giving a Reborn minion a good Death Rattle? Like, this would be kind of playable if it only went off once, but it's gonna go off twice, so it's trash. You guys. It's like every card, right, that isn't a 4-mana 7/7 is like, it's trash. 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 Alright, anyways, moving on. This looks playable, right? It depends on what kind of a, like, you probably don't want this in like your super slow priest. I don't have any minions and I rely on just clearing stuff. But if you have this in a traditional just curve deck, it's got to be decent, right? It's Haunted Creeper with 1 less 1/1. Well, yeah, Haunted Creeper sort of needs both his 1/1s to be Haunted Creeper. But yeah, it's good to point out that it spawns a 1/1 after it dies, which is 1/1 less than Haunted Creeper. But 1/1 less is a big deal. But I think on average you should at least be able to make use out of one of the buffs, and then it's fine, right? Because then it's a Haunted Creeper with, instead of an extra 1/1, it gives one of you guys +1/+1. So I think in that way we can draw that comparison. This can hit itself? No, it shouldn't. I hope not, right? Anyways, moving on. Holy Ripple. Deal 1 damage to all enemies. Restore 1 health to all friendly characters. What? Are you giving Priest a good arcane explosion? In a meta where pings are going to be super relevant? Alright. I'm probably going to want to draft a couple of these if I'm playing the super slow Priest. This is the thing that sort of keeps you alive, right? Yep. Alright. Sandhoof Waterbearer. At the end of your turn, restore 5 health to a damaged friendly character. Whoa! So, yeah, usually when you evaluate cards for Arena, the first thing you look at are the stats playable. That's like, ooh, 5 and a 5/5, that's playable. And then what does the effect do? If you can manipulate this well, this is like a shroom brewer that keeps shroom brewing. Now, it's going to be able to target your face, but that's what I mean if you can manipulate it well. If you can top off your face and then play this and it restores 5 to a Bull-Fist Ogre, ooh, that's pretty good, right? What is the weakness of Priest in terms of class archetype? Not having the board. Not having the board and not having good enough cards to stay alive. So something like Psychic Scream is a good enough card to stay alive, right? That will get you there even if you don't have the board. It can hit itself. That is true, it can hit itself. Oh wow. It can hit itself. Wow, this looks really playable, right? Yeah, so buckets once again. Like once we have determined that a card is going to be pretty good, it's like, well, buckets. Because if it's over bucketed, it could very well not be pickable. But if it's properly bucketed, it's going to be very, very pickable. Right? Penance. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Wow. Hello. They're giving Priest some nice flexible removal, right? It feels like this control Priest thing might be happening. Holy Ripple and Penance to stay alive. 1 mana and a card to make my card spawn as a 1 health guy. So it's like a redemption that I can use immediately. I don't have to see my opponent mess it up. If my minion already has Reborn, this does nothing, right? It's better than Repentance? Yeah, Redemption, right? But Redemption isn't good. You can heal it? That is true, you can heal it. I guess it's deck dependent, right? How many good targets do you have? How many good death rattles do you have? How many divine shield minions do you have? Because like Redemption is pretty deck dependent, right? If you have a lot of Scarlet Crusaders or Basilisks, this is pretty good. But yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see, right? It's probably deck dependent. How many good targets do you have? All right, Rouge. Anka the Buried. Look at the quest hero power. Restore 3 health if you target a minion, give it +3/+3. That looks playable. Yep. I would probably draft that. But it's not an arena. So Anka the Buried. Battlecry. Change each death rattle minion in your hand to a 1/1 that costs 1. And it's going to make all the reborn guys cost 1 in your hand. That's probably pretty draft. Well, buckets, right? Buckets. But yeah, I mean, assuming it's not too expensive, that looks pickable, right? You can't get the quest in arena? No, you cannot. Shadow of Death. Choose a minion. Shuffle 3 shadows in your deck that summons a copy when drawn. That looks like Beneath the Grounds that requires you to have something on the board to really make it meme worthy. Yeah, I think most of the time. This is once again one of those cards that I'm not going to draft, but my opponent might sometimes make it work and it's going to be annoying. But yeah, doesn't look like an arena card. Whirl Kick Master, 2-mana 1/2. Whenever you play a combo card, add a random combo card to your hand. That doesn't feel like an arena card either. Bizarre Mugger. Rush. Battlecry. Add a random minion from another class to your hand. Whoa, what? What is this kind of card? So a 3/5 with Rush isn't great, but you could sort of play it, right? If you are playing a slightly slower deck and you need to stay alive. This also gives you a minion from another class to your hand. Yeah, that looks so playable. Yeah. It's like a sneaky way to not run out of cards. Yeah, this is probably going to be picked quite a bit. Socket Sapper. Death Rattle. Return a random enemy minion to your opponent's hand. Oh. Oh, this is going to be so annoying to play against. It's going to be abusable, but I think overall the effect is going to be positive rather than negative. Because, yeah, they can put a lackey back in their hand, but just imagine how often your opponent is going to play weird because of this thing. Right? They're like, I could play this Pit Fighter, or I could punish him for playing that stupid card and play my Swashbuckler and then replay it and pass my turn. Right? So that's going to happen so often. I was like, oh, there could have been a Pit Fighter on that board. But now he, wanted to meme with his Swashbuckler. Like, I know the cards, just replace the cards with other, right? Swashbuckler's going out, Pit Fighter's going out. But there's going to be other cards that do very similar things, right? So just imagine how often your opponent is going to misplay because he wants to meme and, punish you for drafting this stupid card. It's like a mini Fellreaver effect. Right? Your opponent's gonna detempo himself to try and take advantage of the death rattle. Yeah, this looks good, right? This just looks good. We're gonna have to see how good it is, right? Because bucket and meta, right? Those are the two defining factors. But this is a really good chance to be a very strong card. All right, Plague of Madness. Each player equips a 2/2 knife with poisonous. We've seen cards like this in the past where, you give your opponent a weapon. We have Blingtron, which was, super RNG, but overall not so good. And then you have the Warrior one that gives your opponent a weapon. I don't think we want to give our Priest opponent a 2/2 knife with poisonous, right? So it doesn't look like we want this. Good with the Rush Lackey. Yeah, I mean, anything's good with the Rush Lackey, right? But yeah, I mean, it's like a Spider Bomb. If you rush a Spider Bomb, it's really nasty. All right, I guess you could kill their weapon with it, but then you're still giving them 2 charges, kill anything you want. Right? It's like, aha, I removed your weapon. Now you get to kill 2 of my guys. And I didn't think this through, right? So, okay. Hooked Scimitar, 3 mana 2/2. Combo, gain 2 attack. I guess it depends how easy it is to combo with this set, right? This meta. Yeah, I mean, you can combo it with Ooze. It's the same thing if you can play Weapons Project and combo it with Ooze, but that doesn't make Weapons Project a good card. It's a 1-cost 2/2 weapon. Yeah. But your opponent gets it too, right? Anyways, Hooked Scimitar. Yeah, this is going to be so meta dependent as well. Because this is so nice if you just want to smork, right? Weapons Project is good and constructed though. Well, this is not a constructed review, so that has no relevance here. Absolutely no relevance. Yeah, I don't think we like it in this meta, but we'll see. We'll see. I think in a faster meta, it's kind of what you want out of Assassin's Blade. A lot of damage, but way faster. Clever Disguise. Add 2 random spells from another class to your hand. Oh. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of shitty spells as well. I don't actually know. Would you want the Hooked Scimitar or a Deadly Poison? I mean, without any further information, Deadly Poison. Because Deadly Poison's way more flexible. I don't know. Clever Disguise. It's just another one of those RNG cards, right? Don't love it. Alright, Pharaoh Cat. 1 mana 1/2, Battle Cry. Add a random reborn minion to your hand. Ooh. Hoot, thank you for the 33. Welcome back. Appreciate it. You think Plague of Madness is busted when you have an aggro deck? Aggro decks don't really happen in Arena though, right? People, yeah. Like, whenever people are evaluating cards, they make these very, very specific archetypes, and the reality is that the vast, vast majority of decks in Arena are just mid-range decks with a varying degree of a little bit faster, a little bit slower. Like, true aggro decks are very rare. Very rare. This looks good, by the way, right? 1 mana 1/2. Put a reborn minion in your hand. Right? Easy card to get some, or easy way to get some combos done while not losing value. Once again, buckets dependent, but probably going to be picking quite a bit of these. We have arrived at Shaman. Vesina. While you're overloaded, your other minions have +2 attack. She's a 4 mana 2/6. Yeah, that looks super pickable as well. But once again, buckets and legendary. So moving on, Splitting Axe, Battlecry. Summon copies of your totems. So from what I can see right now, this is not really good, but we're gonna see what totems they add. Totem Golem's not in, right? No, Totem Golem's not in. So Plague of Murlocs. Transform all minions into random Oh, why is it? What? Oh my god. It's gonna feel so weird to play more stuff against Shaman. What kind of insane Murlocs are in, guys? Who gets the war leaders? Yeah. Oh man, I don't think I like this card. Man. We'll have to see. Maybe if I play a lot of Shaman myself. Alright, anyways. Earthquake, 7 mana. Deal 5 damage to all minions, then deal 2 damage to all minions. That seems like specifically tailored to counter Reborn, right? Volcano is in. Ooh! Alright, this is the plan, guys. This is the plan. Alright, sit down, listen. So, the first 2 weeks of the meta, all we do is spam Priest and show people how OP Control Priest is. That's step 1. Then step 2 is make Totem Control Shaman and counter all the priests. You're gonna have Earthquake and Volcano. Ooh. That's pretty, yeah, damn. Yeah, I'm gonna have so much fun trying to make this work. I'm definitely going to try to make this work. So if you weren't around when I played it, there was the Kobolds and Catacombs meta, right? Kobolds and Catacombs meta. Priest just got Psychic Scream. Super oppressive, was really annoying. Everybody picked it, everybody played it. The counter that I found to playing against Psychic Scream Priest is play Shaman, have removals of your own, and don't actually play cards for them to scream. Just pressure them with totems and then have a Bloodlust to punish them, right? Have a couple of punishes for when they wouldn't clear your board of totems. So you would always have like one threat and then totems, one threat and then totems. And you would just see them Psychic Scream for very, very low value. Playing a Scream with totems. Yeah, so okay, this is gonna I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this as well, right? So Psychic Scream, right? The way how I usually enjoy doing this, right? Like I know that for most people, Psychic Scream is 7 mana, make your opponent's deck worse. It has a minor side effect of also clearing the board. It's not so important, right? But the main point of Psychic Scream is to make your opponent's deck worse. And we're very happy paying 7 mana for that, right? So that's the second part. It doesn't really matter too much what you shuffle in the deck, because there is a good chance your opponent's not even going to draw it. Does it matter sometimes? Yes. If you shuffle 14 1/1s in the deck from Violet Worm, yeah. But a lot of the time, I would see this. Priest opponents, they would do the really weird play, which is first like Death the Worm, then Scream, instead of just screaming. And then they would lose 2 turns later because they didn't have a death. Right? It's so crazy that, like, because I don't think that's a good play at all, but people get so like, oh, well, I mean, I gotta shuffle the 1/1s in his deck somehow, right? It's like, no, you could just remove the worm off the board, don't have the 1/1s pop, I play my next threat, you play a Shadow or Death, and you have the board. It's cool. But yeah, this is a big thing, right? Like, the shuffle in the deck is a minor bonus. The main part of Psychic Scream is to remove the opponent's board, right? Like deathing your opponent's worm and then screaming, that's not a good play, okay? Anyways, we're gonna move on. But yeah, I just, man, that's gonna be an interesting 2 months, right? When Psychic Scream is back in. All right, Mogu, Flesh Shaper. 7 mana, 3/4, Rush. Costs 1 less for each minion on the battlefield. Okay. So how much mana do I want to pay for this? And how much mana is it really good? So I don't really want to pay 5 for this, right? So I want to have at least 3 minions on the board. If there are 4 minions on the board, this thing is good, right? Then it's a spider tank with Rush. That's just straight up good. If there are 3 minions on the board, it's pretty decent. If there are 2 minions on the board, I don't really want it. So I think you want this for 3 mana, 4 mana, right? 3 mana obviously 1 or 2 mana is even better. That definitely feels like it plays into the archetype we have in mind, right? We do this really slow, heavy control shaman. Mogu Flesh Shaper seems really, really playable in that archetype. All right. It's all minions? Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't all minions, I don't think it'd be good, right? You'd have to wait until they play cards. Yeah, your hero power effectively costs 1 on that turn. It's kind of like Sea Giant, right? All right, Weaponized Wasp. Battlecry. If you control a lackey, deal 3 damage. What? Evil Totem. At the end of your turn, add a lackey to your hand. What? That seems really, really... Oh. I don't think the Weaponized Wasp is all that, but the Evil Totem seems good. Holy crap. It's like a 2 mana Manatite that gives you lackeys. So it gives you value that is very easy to play because they're 1 mana. And... oh, man. Okay. Then swing your weapon. No, it's Battlecry, right? So you need to play it. But, yeah, it's... ooh. Evil Totem seems super playable. We'll see. The important part is that it's end of the turn. So you're always getting one lackey out of it. So you can compare it to Cable Rat. Cable Rat is a 1/1, which is better than a 0/2, of course. But if they can't kill your Cable Rat, you're getting 2 lackeys. And the moment you get 2 lackeys, it's great. So it's sort of like you play a Taunt Totem that puts a lackey in your hand, and if it can't kill the Taunt Totem, you just pop off. Yeah, this seems pretty annoying. I don't think it's like insanely top tier. I think it's just good, right? I think it's just good, yeah. Sandstorm Elemental. Battlecry. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Woof, 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 ha! Alright. Can I light you on fire? Anyone? Wow, wow. It looks like they're really, really pushing hard to give the other classes a way to deal with the Reborn mechanic. Because you have because you have the Priest that gets the mini Holy Nova, and now they're giving a Twilight Flamecaller to Shaman. So Twilight Flamecaller is a 3-mana 2/2, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions, and it's just good, right? It's just good. So this is going to be good as well. Overload 1 makes it... Overload mana is sort of a little cheaper than because it's always better if you get a little bit more mana a turn earlier, right? You'd very happily sort of just have 5 mana on turn 1, and then, you know, turn 6 you just have a little less mana. You'd very happily take that deal, right? So the earlier you get to spend the mana, the better. So overload mana is not exactly worth as much as actual mana. So this is technically better than a Flamecaller when it comes to mana cost. So yeah, looks good. Looks really good. And then Totemic Surge, give your totem +2 attack. All right, that's... Now you can have Totemic Might and Totemic Surge. Poggers. Poggers, baby. All right, moving on. Dark Pharaoh Tekon. Battlecry. For the rest of the game, your lackeys are 4/4s. Okay, I mean, that's so specific. That's more constructed, right? Rift Cleaver, Battlecry, destroy a minion. You're here. Wait, what? Destroy a minion. Your hero takes... Whoa! What the fuck? Wow, if this is wow, holy crap. Man, I feel like so far the class cards have been like, you know, I haven't been shocked yet, right? I haven't been shocked yet, but this is the first one where you're like, whoa, buddy. Oh, man. Okay, so we haven't even talked about Warlock. We haven't even thought about Warlock in this meta, but whoa, okay. I'm hoping this is appropriately bucketed because that is, oof, right? Just look at how insane Valspine is. Valspine is an understated 5-mana card that requires comboing. If you can play the game in a way where you haven't taken a massive amount of damage yet, you could just Valspine him, playing a sort of... Because Firelands Portal is out, right? Firelands Portal is out, so you get to play 5 health minions. The best they can do is Warbear it, and then they're left with a 5/2. So that's... Yeah, we can already start thinking about that, right? It might be a pretty common interaction where you Warbear a Rift Cleaver, and then you'll need to be able to do... Yeah, I'm already thinking ahead, right? Like, if I'm playing Warlock and I play a Rift Cleaver, I'm going to want 2 damage in my hand to kill their Warbear. It's not Rumble meta, though. So Rumble is not... it doesn't have a boost, right? So... All right, we'll have to see how often we see it, but it looks... Yeah, it looks absolutely insane. There's not much more to say about the card, right? It just looks absolutely insane. Oh yeah, Warbear is a 5/7. You're right. The thing is, I didn't really think of it as a 5/9, so I don't really know why I assumed we need 2 damage. Holy crap! They can't even... Ooh. All right, damn, dude, damn. All right, moving on. Diseased Vulture. After your hero takes damage on your turn, summon a random 3-cost minion. So I first thought this was a 3/3, and I was like, but ooh, it's a 3/5. Wow. So you tap, you get a card, and you get a... Wow, dude, that's back-to-back pretty insane epics. So it's not like insane like Rift Cleaver, right? But this is super... It's just so nice when you play cards that just have an upside and not a really significant downside. This being a 3/5, if it wouldn't have an effect, you wouldn't really want the card. But you're not super sad if it doesn't do anything. And if it sticks, you suddenly have 2 mana, summon a 3-drop, draw a card. So yeah, this is super playable as well. In Arena, you just want cards that are flexible and not conditional, right? And these two are fairly not good. I mean, they require you to have health, but you know, having some health in Arena is usually a good idea to begin with. All right, Imp Balming. Destroy a minion. Shuffle 3 worthless imps in your deck. Wow, so drafting single target threats against Warlock is going to be a rough one, eh? Rift Cleaver and Embalming. Oh yeah, I mean, we can't pick that, right? Because we would make our deck worse. Oops, sorry guys. Literally unpickable, right? It shuffles 3 imps in our deck. I don't think you want to spam it, of course, but yeah, your first copy should be pretty good. It hurts you less than a Blast Crystal when you play it early. Because you're a Warlock, you can sort of like, oh, I drew an imp, I guess I tap, right? Okay. Yeah, this is very playable, I would say. I don't think you want as many of them as Blast Crystals. But your first Embalming is probably going to be better than your Blast Crystal. Yeah. Okay. Super playable for sure. Expired Merchant. Battlecry. Discard your highest cost card. Death Rattle. Add 2 copies of it to your hand. This feels like it's targeted a little bit more towards Constructed, right? To do some combo memes. But that seems playable for sure, right? It's a 2/1, so it's like a loot hoarder. But you get to kind of choose what card you're going to get. You get to manipulate it and get more value. Seems like one of those 2-drops that's way better than any other 2-drop, except on turn 2. That's the usual thing, right? So I think the way how the meta pans out with the strong 3-drops and the poison cards being back, right? Because Gastropod, Basilisk, Tar Creeper, and what's the 2/4 Divine Shield called again? Lone Defender? Those cards might shape it so that 2-drops don't really matter that much. And if 2-drops don't really matter that much, being able to draft 2-drops that don't cost you anything in terms of value, that could be pretty good. So maybe the meta makes this card better than it would be right now. So you'll be wanting to play your highest cost card, not discarding it and waiting until it dies to get it back. I mean, if you play this on turn 2 and it kills your 6-drop, what the fuck, right? You don't want to play your 6-drop on turn 3, so. Plague of Flames. Destroy all your minions. For each one, destroy a random enemy minion. How easy can I get stuff to stick as a Warlock? Man, playing cards against Warlock is just not going to be fun, right? I think it's good. I think that the first look at it, it's good, right? It's just how good, right? Because remember the 3 mana card? Sacrifice one of your minions, kill an enemy minion? This is 1 mana. Now, the problem with that is that you can't really decide what you sack, but so yeah, I haven't really decided whether it's like good or just great, like whether it's great or just good. Trade your worm, clear the board. Not exactly a scenario you usually want, right? Yeah, I'm not really good at predicting this, so I'll have to play it. I'll have to see it. Okay, Evil Recruiter, 3 mana, 3/3. Battlecry, destroy a friendly lackeys. Summon a 5/5. But lackeys are out, right? I think the funny thing is I think this is playable, right? Because you get to choose the lackey, and improve morale is pretty good. You don't get to choose the lackey, but you get to deal 1 damage. But this seems like something you draft, right? So I don't think Evil Recruiter on average is good, but obviously if you get the deck that can support it, it's stupid, right? It's stupid. But I don't think that the current meta will have decks that can support it very often. Neferset Thrasher. Whenever this attacks, deal 3 damage to your hero. Yeah. The 5 mana 5/5 that deals 5 to your face every time you play a minion, that's awkward because you can't choose to just develop and put the effect on hold. You have to get rid of it or you can't develop. Here you can put the effect on hold. You can just not go face, summon a board after this has won you the board. This looks good. Yeah, this looks good actually. The more I think about it, this looks good. All right. And then, yeah, we talked about Discover Lucky. Hack the System. It's kind of a fun... this looks like a fun card. Armadillo. Taunt. At the end of your turn, give all taunt minions in your hands +2/+2. 6 mana 4/7. That's the same stats as the spell power guy. So that's playable. Alright, well in the right deck, this is obviously good. So not much to talk about, I guess, right? Buckets, meta, yada yada. You know the drill. Live Wire Lands. 3 mana 2/2. Alright. So Miscreant is a 3 mana 1/4. Put 2 lackeys in your hand. And it's broken. Right? Miscreant is broken. We can agree on that, right? This thing is a 3 mana 2/2 weapon. You don't get the lackeys straight away, but you get one of them straight away. And it doesn't matter whether you have coin or not. Because when you look at the card, at the surface, right, it's like, okay, it looks decent, right? But then when you really, really start analyzing it, you go like, Miscreant is insane. We know this. We play with Miscreant, we play against Miscreant, it's insane. This thing doesn't require coin, has initiative, doesn't require you to play an understated body. You're forced to attack? Oh, boo-hoo, right? I guess the problem with it is Miscreant is also insane because if you get the Evolve Lackey, it's really nasty with the 1/4. So it might not be better than Miscreant, right? It might not be better than Miscreant, but it's going to be good. I think regardless, and not being better than Miscreant is not a big deal, right? If you're close-ish to Miscreant, it's fine, right? Yeah, it's playstyle as well, but I would argue, Dr. Stein, that if you're playing Warrior and you could draft Miscreant, you really, really wouldn't. You wouldn't mind at all, right? You wouldn't mind. But I do think Miscreant is better, because Miscreant immediately opens up, oh, I have a 1/4 on the board. If you can't deal with it, and I have the Evolve Lackey, I'm immediately ahead with a 4-drop on turn 3. So, yep. Okay, but still, I mean, it's a good talk, right? The lance looks super strong. Bloodsworn Mercenary, 3 mana 3/3. Battlecry. Choose a damage. Ooh. Choose a damage-friendly minion. Summon a copy of it. Is that just really, really, really good? Man, they're really trying to make me draft 3/3s this expansion. Warpath is in? Question mark? Is Witchwood in? Witchwood isn't in, right? No. So Warpath's not in. So you can't do the Warpath mercenary play. But still, right? Let's say you play this on turn 5. Turn 4 you play your Yeti. Turn 5 you trade into something that leaves your Yeti with 2 health. Then for 3 mana you get to summon a 3/3 and a 4/2. That's super nice. Interesting for Warrior. Very interesting for Warrior. Tomb Warden. 8 mana 3/6. Taunt. Battlecry. Summon a copy of this card. Holy crap. So if you would play Power of Creation and you would get 2 Fen Creepers guaranteed, Most of the time you'd be okay with that. Because a lot of the time you're like, I want to stay alive. But not all the time, right? Getting some cool buff it with the legendary. Yeah, but that's arena. We're talking arena, right? So I think that if you don't buff it, it doesn't really look crazy, but pickable and playable, right? Pickable and playable. I see that there is a little bit of buff shenanigans, right? Yeah, into the fray, but you wouldn't want to pick this, right? So it's gonna actually be hard to hand buff it. All right. Plague of Wrath, destroy all damaged minions. AoE execute, boys. There are super good neutral hand buff cards as well. Yeah, so I guess deck dependent, but my point is that you can probably pick and play Tomb Warden even if you don't have synergy. It's just not really like insane then, right? But 8 mana for 2 Fen Creepers is sort of okay. I guess it's a bit meta dependent, right? It's a bit meta dependent. And execute in arena is okay, but like not insane. I guess we're gonna have to see. Honestly, Plague of Wrath, that's gonna be one of those feeling cards, but doesn't feel insane right now. Just because a lot of the time, ways to damage your opponent's board are also ways to damage your board. So you are killing your own board as well. I guess it would depend on, do you have this whole control warrior thing going on? If you're really control warrior, KFT isn't in either, right? So they don't have Blood Razor. Yeah. I think, you know, really depends on if you can get the whole... If you don't have support for this, it sucks, right? You need to have easy ways to deal damage to the opponent's board. If you have that, then sure. Otherwise, meh. Alright, into the fray. It feels too situational. Give all taunt minis in your health +2/+2. Sort of like bolster. But the cards need to be in your hand. I don't want to rule it out immediately, but it feels very bolster-esque, so it doesn't seem good right now. But people will pick it because they try to make the meme work, right? Armored Goon. Whenever your hero attacks, gain... Whoa! Whoo! Okay, seems like a really solid arena card. 6 mana, 6/7, that's Boulder Fist. Those are good stats. And then a very relevant effect. It's not good. Are we talking about Into the Fray or the Boulder Fist with upside? Alright. Restless Mummy, 4 mana, Rush Reborn. This was one of the first cards revealed, right? I think I saw this one. This is deal 3 damage twice somewhere. Deal 6 damage to one guy. Deal 3 damage to one guy, keep a 3/1. Tempo a 3/2, Divine Shield if you really have to. Yeah, this, wow. This so, just, you heard me say already, flexibility is really important in the arena. It just makes cards a lot better. So not being situational is sort of the baseline, right? You don't want your card to be situational. Like for instance, this guy, that's not really situational. It's a 6 mana, 6/7. Even if you don't have a weapon, solid, good stats, play it on the board, right? We like it. But it's not super flexible. So this thing is not really situational, and it's flexible on top of that. It's just super nice. I guess flexibility by default means it's not really situational, right? So it's just an upgraded form. Like the first one is, okay, it's just reliable. The other one is like, it's just flexible. It's just really good. This fits so many weird board states that you could solve with it. So yeah, that's great, right? It's really good. Yeah, Restless Mummy looks really nice. Frightened Flunky. 2 mana, 2/2 taunt. Battlecry, discover a taunt minion. We've already made a couple meta predictions, and if it's going the way we predicted it, this is gonna be super decent. Because we're likely going to be in a meta where 2-drops aren't that relevant. But if you can play something on 2 without it costing you in the long run, that's great. So the Warlock 2-drop that gives you the value, that's probably going to be pretty decent. The Frightened Flunky will give you something to do and gives you value on top, right? So this looks like a really, really solid arena card. It's too bad the bucket system will fuck some cards up. Yeah, so much of this is going to depend on where is Blizzard going to put everything. Because a lot of the arena right now is just playing the bucket system. How efficient can you draft your decks based on where the cards are placed? So yeah, super, super nice. And it's Discover as well. Wow, yeah, it's not just random. Like, you would play this getting a random taunt minion. It might not have been like insane, right? Because you get like a Silverback, Patriarch, or Fen Creeper. But it's 2-mana 2/2, right? That's a downside you would take. But you get to Discover. So you get the best one in the pack every time. Oh, whatever. Oh yeah, core here. Okay. Sure. Oh, we've made it through all the class cards. So far for the class cards, I think the biggest surprise was the insane Warlock card, right? Rift Cleaver was like, oh, what? Right? A couple of other like, oh, this is pretty good. Or like, man, they're doing like... But the Rift Cleaver was probably the most insane class card, or in terms of not expecting it. Let's talk about the neutral cards right now. Is Calling still in? No, none of the meta cards are going to be in. None of the ROS cards are going to be in. Colossus of the Moon. 10 mana, 10/10, Divine Shield Reborn. Somehow I thought this was going to have Rush, and I'm like, and I'm like, no, right? So 10 mana, 10/10, Faces Behemoth. How much mana was a Faces Behemoth? Was it a 10 mana, 10/10? No, right? Now I need to see Faces Behemoth. Oh, it was a 10 mana 10/10. Oh man. Poor Faces Behemoth. Poor Faces Behemoth. Alright. Anyways. I don't know. But it's I'm not gonna waste too much time on the legendaries, right? I'm not gonna like nitpick, oh maybe this, because you're not gonna see the legendaries too often, so unless I see something obvious, we're just gonna move on. King Pharaohs. Pharaohs? Battlecry. For each spell in your hand, summon a random minion of the same cost. Alright, it's a 10 mana 5/5 situational. Probably not, right? Octosari, 8 mana 8/8, Death Rattle Druid. Wow, okay. So that's gonna be pickable. But yeah, buckets and legendary. So I don't want to waste too much time on it, but that's, yeah. 8 mana 8/8, Death Rattle Druid cards. That is very, very, very pickable in the arena. Okay, you're gonna overdraw, but nobody cares, right? The thing I always say about overdraw, unless you hit fatigue, is if you have 10 cards in the arena, that is usually a very, very good thing. Whether you killed off 1 or 2 extra cards, it's like a Fel Reaver. It doesn't matter, right? It only matters when you hit fatigue. So, yeah. Okay. All right, Siamat, Battlecry, gain 2 of Rush, Taunt, Divine Shield, or Chop. Whoa, that looks insane, right? Wow, because I talked about how flexibility is such a huge key in the arena. And you can just tempo this out as a 7 mana 6/6 Taunt Divine Shield. Or even Divine Shield Wind Fury if you don't need the taunt. And that is fine, right? If you have a 7 mana 6/6 with Wind Fury, Divine Shield, or Divine Shield Taunt, but if you need to react immediately and you can rush Divine Shield or rush Wind Fury, you can do so much work on your opponent's board. So this looks like a really, really, really good card for the arena. Probably maybe even constructed as well, but I don't want to really go there. Right? So yeah, there's so much stuff here. Rush Wind Fury, yeah. Go for Rush Wind Fury. Whee! That's just 2 fireballs, right? Yeah. Zephyrus the Great, Battlecry. If your deck has no duplicates, wish for the perfect card. So this card, there was some hype about it on Twitter. So I did see this card and about how it works. So for anyone who doesn't know, and correct me if I'm wrong because I've only read some brief descriptions, the game actually looks at the situation and gives you 3 options that are all supposed to be good, right? It lets you discover one of 3 cards that are all supposed to be good for the situation. Yeah, based on your mana next turn. So something you can do. So we've really reached a new stage, I would say, in Hearthstone. Can you imagine a card like this being released, you know, like 4 years ago? It's like, what? Right? So it wins you the game. I'm not sure if it wins you the game in Arena. Does it even understand what is good in Arena, right? But we'll see. We'll see. This is obviously a card that we will try to draft and have some fun with. It'll be too much fun not to play it. All right. Blatant Decoy. Death Rattle. Each player summons the lowest cost. Sorry. All right. Each player summons the lowest cost minion from their hands. These effects are almost always bad. Cards that both get something from my hand and from your hand, especially if you have to pay mana for it, right? In this case, we're paying 6 mana for a 5/5, whereas ideally we'd only pay 5 or maybe even only 4 if it had a nice other effect. So you don't want these kind of cards most of the time. Desert Obelisk. If you control 3 of these, that seems like such a meme card again, right? Okay, sure. That's, you know, constructed memes, right? Mortuary Machine. After your opponent plays a minion, give it reborn. Oh, you know, I like my Fel Reavers. You guys know I like my Fel Reavers, but every minion your opponent's, wow, that seems like a really fast way to lose the board. Just imagine your opponent's playing a single taunt minion into this. My taunt minion has reborn now. Like a single taunt destroys you if you play Mortuary Machine, right? Because the entire premise of playing a Fel Reaver-esque card is that you win pretty fast. So if any taunt minion sort of, because it's not just like, oh, my opponent played a taunt, I can remove it. Now my opponent played a taunt, it has reborn, I need to remove it and deal 1 damage to it again, right? Yeah, or a rush minion can just rush it twice. There's so many things that just lose you the game when you play this. Fel Reaver, it's hard to express how much better Fel Reaver is than this thing. Any taunt sort of just destroys you. And then even if they don't have taunt, their minions are going to trade and respawn. I think it's still worth trying out, but it looks like it's... So I think it can work. But I think there are too many factors where it's bad, so I don't think it's going to be good on average. But there can be games where you get away with it. But I don't think it's going to be a great card to draft. Body Wrapper. Battlecry. Discover a friendly minion that died this game. Shuffle it in your deck. Right? I don't think I want to play a 4-mana 4/4 for that effect. If I were to put it in my hand, sure, right? But... shuffle it back in the deck. This seems more like a constructed thing. So meh. History buff. 3 mana 3/4. Pog. 3 mana 3/4. Whenever you play a minion, you... What is the deal with Blizzard just tanking printing spider tanks with upside? Right? Spider tanks are fine. Stop giving spider tanks extra effects, man. Holy crap. Because you overdo it, right? It's like you print the spider tank and then like, oh, by the way, your spider tank is also really, really useful in terms of just an effect. Yes, but your opponent can play another minion first. Yeah, I mean, no. Yes, Rush obviously destroys you when you have the machine. Oops, sorry guys. Rush is very good against this guy. Very, very good. Anyways. But yeah, history buff, yeah, it looks really good, right? Whenever you play a minion, give a random... Yeah, this is just really good. All right. Mischief Maker. Battlecry. Swap the top card of your deck with your opponents. All right. This, you know, whatever. I don't think it's good. All right. It's a 3-mana 3/3. People will draft it because they like it. 3-mana 2/3. Vulpira's Scoundrel. Battlecry. Discover a spell or pick a mystery choice. What is the mystery choice? What is a mystery choice? Do I get to see my discovered spell first and then be like, fuck it, give me the mystery box? Or is it discover a spell or mystery box? I'm assuming I'm going to be able to see the spells first, because why else would I go mystery box, right? Oh, you discovered 2 and the third is random. Okay, so it's discover like usual. You get 1 of 2 spells and then mystery. So it's basically discovery, but you get 1 less choice with this. Okay, so it's essentially just the worst discover. That doesn't mean that it's bad, right? we're not gonna do that. But you discover 3 and the fourth is random. Ah, okay. Chat, can all of chat please give me correct information? Thank you, chat. Appreciate that. Okay. Okay, so it's just better. It's just better, right? It's just better. Okay, so just straight up better than usual discover, because you get to look at 3 cards, and if you're like, well, none of these cards does really anything here, you can choose the mystery box option. So you guys aren't gonna like this, because I'm gonna be like, we could go mystery box. This card is okay, so I'm gonna go with the okay card. I'm usually gonna have to be pressed for lethal, where I'm like, okay, I'll have to go mystery box because nothing else saves me. So yeah, and it's a 3-mana 2/3. So let's compare that maybe to Raven, right? That might be a reasonable comparison. Raven is a 3-mana 3/2, which puts a mage minion in your hand. Now, specifically, Raven came out when Caligos was printed, so that's a thing that happened quite a lot. But this can give you Blizzard, this can give you Flame Strike, right? Or any of the powerful mage cards that are in. Meteor is going to be back in, so yeah. This looks like, especially if we think the meta is going to go to that slightly slower control style, this is going to be pretty darn pickable. And then you could just add it to other classes as well, right? It's not just mage. We made the comparison with Raven because Raven is a mage card, but depending on how good the spells on average are in your deck. Yeah, okay. Okay. Dwarven Archaeologist. 2-mana 3/2. After you discover a card, reduce its cost by 1. So this is just generic, right? River Croc with upside. So good card, right? It's fine. If the meta is going to turn into something where 2-drops aren't good, you might not want to pick it though, right? So Mogu Cultist. If you're all right, next. Sure. Yeah. Great card. Phenomenal. The new scribe. Right. All right. Wrapped Golem. 7-mana 7/5. Woo! I always have to take a moment when I read these cards, be like, am I reading this correctly? Am I missing something, right? So let us compare this to a pretty big powerhouse that was introduced, I think, in LOE, so it's going to be back in, right? I don't remember its name, but it was a 7/7 that made 1/1 taunt scarabs. Now you might say, oh, this is a 7/5, but has reborn. So even if you're going to dagger it down, that's still 7 to the face. Obsidian Destroyer, yeah. Obsidian Destroyer was really good, right? Really, really good. Not just good, really good. Like, you would pick 4 of those, no problem. So this is Obsidian Destroyer with 2 health less, but you get the Reborn effect, which is kind of like a Divine Shield, but not exactly, right? Because you can't trade with the Divine Shield and keep a 7/5. If you trade, it comes back as a 7/1. But a lot of the time you won't be trading with this because there will be 1/1 scarabs. It really feels like we're going to go slower this meta, but we'll see. There's going to be so much... Guys, I hope you are ready. There's going to be so much testing. We're going to be testing all the things. We're going to try to get some working strategies down as fast as possible. to help you guys figure out. You guys can essentially let me do all the testing and be like, ah, Shady found something OP. Let's play that, right? So I'm going to try to fix that for you guys. Right. All right. Cartooth Defender, 6 mana 3/4. Taunt, Reborn. Death Rattle, restore 3 health to your hero. No, right? Applebaum is a 5 mana 4/5. This is a 3/4, but it comes back as a 3/1. I think in the right deck, you can not be sad about it. But most of the time, it's pretty meh. And the right deck being a deck that just 100% needs to stay alive and always has enough value and just, you know. So I think that this is a card you pick if you have like a hyper control mage or the Warlock, right? Where you have, let's say you have 2 of those guys that destroy a minion and deal damage to your face. If you have 2 of those guys, this guy might seem a little bit more appealing, because then health is really important. I don't think you can rule it out. I think in the right deck it can see some play, but I don't think it's ever going to be top tier. But I think in the right deck it might see some play here or there. Because Applebaum was pretty meh, but in the right deck, oh, super annoying to face an Applebaum. Super annoying to face an Applebaum. In most decks it's meh, right? But a slow Warlock deck with 2 Applebaums, that's really annoying. So I think we can sort of compare it to Applebaum, and you draft it mainly just for the taunt and the heal, and the stats is like whatever. You'll get around it. Okay. Sunstruck Henchman. 4 mana 6/5. At the start of your turn, this has a 50% chance to fall asleep. What do I think of this? What do I think of this? Because sometimes my opponents will not fall asleep, and if I have to draft it, sometimes mine will fall asleep, so... I don't like these cards, man. Like, Ogre in general, if this would say 50% to attack the wrong target, oof, I'm down. Slam it. Awesome, right? Great. Who cares about that? But 50% chance to not be able to do anything is kind of awkward. I don't know. I think if the meta is slow enough, you can start to consider it. But I don't think it's going to be good. But it's one of those cards that, depending on the bucket, you might pick it if the meta is slow enough. We'll see. Anyways, moving on. Conjured Mirage. Taunt. At the start of your turn, shuffle this... Oh, man. Maybe in some very, 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 very specific deck where I sometimes need to heal a little bit, but no. No. This essentially kills itself, right? Oh, man. It's a Frost Nova? Yeah, a Frost Nova that can be polymorphed. You can silence it, yeah. I guess if you have silence. If you have enough silence in your deck, this suddenly becomes a thing. But then you need 7 mana to do it in 1 turn, right? Yeah, so I think most of the time pretty garbage, but in the right deck, maybe. 3 mana 5/4, what is this? Oof, alright. Reborn. Your opponent's cards cost 1 less. No, right? No. Ramping the opponent has always been a terrible idea. Yeah. You might look at the stats and be a little bit charmed, but no. Alright. Next one. Infested Goblin. 3 mana, 2/3 taunt. Death Rattle, add 2 1/1 scarabs with taunt to your hand. Probably pickable if it's in a bad bucket and you're like, I don't like it, but whatever, right? If you have a lot of synergy with small min, let's say you're a druid, you have 3 powers of the wild, you might be like, why not, right? So, okay. This guy I could not get around, so you're not going to get my original reaction, but my... Like, what the fuck were they thinking, man? All right, let's break this card up. Let's break this up piece by piece. So first of all, it is a 2 mana 2/3. Without text, that is playable. Depending on the meta, not preferable, but playable. So no text on this guy, playable. Then we look at the text. We're just going to actually skip a word for now, right? We're going to skip a word for now. We're going to add that word back later and then look at how good it is. Restore a minion to full health. That would be broken, right? A 2-mana 2/3. Well, maybe not broken, but really, really good because Hosen Healer is a 2/6 for 4. So Hosen Healer was a good card in its day and becomes better if the meta is slow. But a lot of the problems with Hosen Healer is that it is 4 mana and it's kind of hard to time it. What you can do with Neferset Ritualist is trade with something and then heal it. So one of the interactions that I've thought of for now is you play Amani Warbear, you trade into something, leave the Warbear on 1 or 2 health, and then on turn 9, right, you play the Ritualist right after, and you turn it into a 5/7 again. You can't do that with a Hosen Healer because it costs 4 mana. Oh, Reborn, you're right. Oh, with the Reborn mechanic, it's even better. Oh, that's so insane. I hadn't even thought of that. I was just thinking of it in terms of the... Oh my god, it's even better. It's even better. It was already broken without Reborn being a mechanic, but it is even better. All right, now we add a word. Restore your adjacent minions to full health. You can do it to 2 minions if you have them. Right? You can do it to 2 minions. You can just instantly win the game if that happens. So we went from it's a 2-mana Hosen Healer, which is super, super, super solid. Then it turns into 2-mana Hosen Healer, which procs in a meta with, or which can be used in a meta with Reborn minions. And then it's like, oh, by the way, if you happen to have 2 damage minions on the board, you can do it to both of them. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be bucket dependent. The thing is that in some decks, you might skip over this based on if it's bucket 1, right? If we assume it's bucket 1. If it's not bucket 1, then yeah, it's going to be it's going to be pretty interesting. But if we assume it's bucket 1, in some decks, you're just going to skip over this. Sort of like how Potion of Madness was like really, really nasty, but you wouldn't pick it in that bucket. In some decks, if you have enough Reborn minions, you're just going to snap it, of course, right? You keep this card for the late game? Oh, oftentimes you'll keep it for the late game, yeah. But yeah, we'll see where they put it, right? We'll see where they put it, but I can see it being skipped over if it's like bucket 1. If it's anywhere below bucket 1, it's probably going to be a snap every time. Sort of like Piggy, right? You're like, oh, Piggy, ooh, Piggy, ooh, Piggy. So we'll see. All right, moving on. But yeah, that's one hell of a card, man. Even better. All right. Questing Explorer. Battlecry if you go quest, but it's 2-mana 2/3 in Arena. It doesn't really matter, right? Then this guy. I saw this guy this morning. Couldn't get around him. Another like, what the fuck, right? So 2-mana 3/2. So we have established that is playable, right? Then let's look at the effect. Let's actually, let's once again adjust the text a little bit again, right? Let's adjust the text a little bit again. Give an enemy minion -2 attack this turn. Boom. That's a top tier Arena card. Shrinkmeister. Really fun, really good card. Comboable with Shadow Madness, comboable with Potion of Madness, Shadow Repain, blah, 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 blah. But it's not Shrinkmeister. It's a neutral card, so you can play it in any class, and it hits all enemy minions. All enemy minions. Wow. Right? Wow. So just imagine the sort of tempo gain. Also, there are very specific, very, very specific interactions with this. Basilisk. Gastropod, right? Whoo! Those are 2 very, very nasty targets for this thing. Ouch, right? That is so nasty. Kodo, right? You can Kodo something. It's, yeah. But even without extra synergy, just the fact that you can do this and just have a giant trade on the board and get ahead is just crazy. And then your guys survive, and then the turn after you play Neferset Ritualist. Oh man. Is it going to be better than Neferset Ritualist? Well, I think in most decks, no. Because Reborn is a thing, right? So because Reborn is a thing, Ritualist is just going to be nasty. In some decks, I can see it being better because you won't have that much use for the Ritualist. But I think most decks, Ritualist is going to be better, yeah. But like everything in the arena, it's going to be deck dependent, right? All right. Living Monument. It's taunt, right? I think they've learned from their sort of Faceless Behemoth mistakes where if you're going to print this kind of a body, you have to give it taunt. Otherwise, it's just, cool, they played it. I'm going to go face. Because this is just an arena card, right? I guess, you know, depending on the bucket, depending how desperate you are, you pick it, right? It's not unplayable, right? But it's not good. The thing is that I don't like Shovel Fist, but Shovel Fist in the meta we're about to get would probably be quite good, right? So, but in this meta, you would never even go near this thing. But in the next meta, it might be relevant, so we'll see. Yes, this guy. So this is a little bit of a controversial one. This one I've seen already. From what I can tell, probably not great because no taunt. If it had taunt, oof, right? Your opponent has to kill it. You might buff more of your taunts. Now, if we combine this with some of the warrior cards we've seen, right? The taunt splitter, that could be playable, but I think it might be a card that you pick if you're low on value and you can afford it, meaning you have enough cards that mean you'll have control of the board. Sure, but I think in most of the slower decks, you actually don't really want it. Might be a card you pick if the meta is really slow and you're a bit of a faster deck. All right, anyways. Pit Crocolisk. 8 mana 5/6, Battlecry deal 5. Would I pay 8 mana for a Firelance Portal that always rolls Pit Fighter? Because that's what this is, right? This is an 8 mana Firelance Portal that always high rolls. And it's neutral, meaning not just gate kept for Mage. So remember when I said that Portal was out for this guy? It's back! Oh, man. That's going to happen so often, right? You're going to play your golem. Don't have the croc, don't have the croc, don't have the croc. Motherfucker, at the croc, right? Because you can tell, like, they're going to have, like, 2 1/1s on the boards. I was like, ah, oh, if he has the croc, if he has the croc. If they don't have anything, right? They don't have a dagger, they don't have 1/1s, then sure. But or like turn 9, right? You play this into their turn 9 and they're a mage, they're gonna be like, shoot, ping. So yeah, Firelance Portal's back. Oh no, it's not Portal, right? So it's not Portal. So turn 10. Okay. I just like, it's so in my brain that Portal's 7, right? This is 8 mana. So but yeah, turn 10. Turn 10, you can Portal ping it. 8 mana Portal dance game. Isn't it nice the game is over by turn 2 though? Quick games. This is going to be such a... Well, I mean, we'll have to see, right? But from what I can see right now, it's probably going to be a pretty slow meta. All right, anyways. Wasteland Scorpid. 7 mana, 3/9, poisonous. If this were 6 mana and the stats were different, I'd like it a lot more. 7 mana is where it gets a little bit slower, right? How much punishes are around for this thing? Like the regular Shadow Madness, Shadow Red Pain kind of stuff. I think this might still be good, honestly. From what we've seen, we're going to have a lot of these bigger, slower bodies. And being able to jam 3 damage with the poison is pretty good. Like, sorry, I mean like 9 health and then 3 damage, you don't care because poison. Because you could change these stats, right? In terms of trading, this is like a 12-9. A 12-9 for 7. You play that, right? But it would only deal 3 damage to the face. Okay. Yeah. If this isn't bucketed too highly, right? If it's like fairly low buckets, you'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? It's a big dude. Yeah, okay. Probably okay. Let's see. Wasteland Assassin, Stealth Reborn. That seems really slow though, right? That seems really, really slow. You're gonna get value out of this, but it's gonna be vulnerable to stuff like the Priest Arcane Explosion or Actual Arcane Explosion or Fan of Knives, which are probably gonna be very, very highly picked, right? Fan of Knives, Arcane Explosion, the Holy blah blah blah, the Holy Ripple. They're gonna be picked quite highly, so. So it's value, but it's so slow. It looks too slow right now. Because you're gonna like play it, do nothing. My turn, attack something, respawn, still not get full value out of my 5-drop, and then the turn after attack something again. So I don't know. All right, moving on. Faceless Lurker, 5 mana 3/5, taunt, battle cry. Double this minion's health. Oh, I said 3/5. I'm seeing numbers. So it's a 3. So it's Fen Creeper. It's Fen Creeper with shenanigans if you can buff it. Okay. I mean, not great, but in some decks a little bit better, and depending on the bucket once again, right? A filler for 5 probably. Phalanx Commander. Your taunt minions have +2 attack. 5 mana, 4/5. So the stats aren't good. In the right deck, sure, right? So yeah, very deck dependent. Bone Wraith. Taunt Reborn. 4 mana, 2/5. Probably okay if you're a really slow deck and you just need to hold them off, but most of the time I don't think this does enough, right? Mini Belcher, Belcher spawned the 1/2. That's pretty specific though, right? A 1. If Belcher would spawn a 2/1, Belcher would be a lot worse. If you just ping off whatever the Belcher spawns, Belcher would be a lot worse. Yeah, I'd see like, you know, if you have Neferset Ritualist, right? Our boy over here, obviously this thing becomes way, way better. So I think a lot of it is going to depend on how good are these rewards cards going to be is going to depend on do you have Ritualists or not. This one has 1 less attack. Yeah, but Belcher was a 5 mana card, right? If Belcher was a 4 mana card, oh my god, holy shit, right? So yeah, I mean, looks pretty vanilla, right? Really vanilla. Like, yeah, I'll pick it if it's in the low bucket, and I kind of can use taunt and blah blah blah. Desert Hare, Battle Cry, summon 2 1/1 Desert Hares. So the Technician, but I don't get a 2/1. Candle Taker, 3 mana 3/2 Reborn. Scarlet Crusader plus, dare I say? Yeah, Scarlet Crusader plus. Not much more to be said, right? That's a good 3-drop. Scarlet Crusader plus. All right. Golden Scarab, 3 mana 2/2. Battlecry, discover a 4-cost card. I guess if you're low on 4-drops, you could fix your curve a little bit. I think I would need to see math on this. I can't really tell you how good this card is right now. I need to see what are the odds of getting something, you know, really good. What are the odds of getting a complete whiff? But yeah, we'll have to see. This is not a card I can give you a good opinion on. All right, 1 second, guys. Why is the power level so high? I have no idea. They just wanted to go crazy. Serpent Egg. I think we've seen this in the 3 mana 0/3/5/5 egg, that the 3 health or the 2 health is a giant difference. I guess it's going to depend on if you have things to proc it with, right? Like with most eggs. It's just an egg, right? Yeah. Buck Collector. 2 mana, 2/1, Battlecry. Summon a 1/1 Locust with Rush. That's good, right? That's good. That's one of those 2-drops that retains its value in the late game. So that looks good. Yeah. It's not as good as Hawksteed, yeah, but the it's kind of like a blowgill sniper. It's better to tempo than a blowgill sniper. This thing with the ritualist looks so toxic, right? Coin Talvir, play ritualist. I play the 2/6 for 2 mana. Alright, well, that's a card that can be abused. Other than that, it's a 2 mana 2/3 taunt, which is a good card. It's fine. Fish Flinger, Battlecry, add a random Murloc to each player's hand. I guess you'll pick it if you're desperate, but most of the time I don't like the cards that add cards to both players' hands or add things to both players' boards. Like Spellslinger, Flight Master, those kind of cards. I just don't like them, right? So, most of the time do not want. Temple Berserker, 2 mana 1/2. Reborn, has +2 attack while damaged. Oh, wait. It comes back. Ooh, no, it comes. Ooh, yeah, you're right. It comes back as a 3/1. Okay. That's better. It's a bit slow, but the meta might be slow. Yeah, if you cannot ping, this meta is going to be so much. Like, you need cards that ping for you, or you need a hero power that pings for you. We're definitely going to start with the ping classes, try to make those work. Because they seem to have such an innate advantage in this meta. Alright, anyways, moving on. Vile Fiend, 2 mana 2/2 lifesteal. It's pretty unexciting. I think, given all the other powerful 2-drops we've seen, it's like, sure, you can have this, right? Oh, goddamn. Sorry, guys. Professional over here. At least I found it pretty fast. Cobalt Sandtrooper, 2 mana 2/1. Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to the enemy hero. Yeah, we've seen this before in a 3 mana 3/1. The Leper Gnome doesn't do well. Alright. Alright. Spitting Camel, 2 mana 2/4. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to another random friendly minion. That doesn't seem worth the hassle, right? I think we've seen similar cards that damage your own board. Yeah, I don't think we like it. All right. Beaming Sidekick. Battlecry. Give a friendly minion +2 health. It's not quite Power Shield. But not too bad, right? If you're going to have like Neferset Ritualist to heal stuff up. Pretty flexible. The one thing I can see is that the meta is a little bit too slow and just having these bodies is pretty awkward. But it's probably okay. Draw a card versus a 1/2. Yeah, you definitely want Power Shield, but Power Shield's a really good card, so. Mermy, 1 mana 1/1 Reborn. That's kind of funny. Terrifying at the same time. A Mummy Murloc. Alright, well, that's kind of like Argent Squire. Depending on how fast the meta is, might be okay. Jar Dealer. Death Rattle. Add a random 1-cost minion to your hand. That probably seems better, right? Can't hit lackeys, no. I don't think I like it then. I don't think I want to play a 1/1 that gives me another 1-drop. I guess in the right deck could be okay. Infinite Jar Dealers. Ah, the new lackey. Right. The new lackey. Titanic Lackey. Battlecry. Give a minion +. I think they've toned the power level down though, right? I think if we look at the other 5 lackeys, I think they're all stronger than this. On the other hand, the taunt aspects later in the game for slower decks could be really, really nasty. But the Rush Lackey is just busted in Arena, right? The Evolve Lackey can be so stupid. The 2 damage lackey, right? That's just so much tempo and initiative. The spell lackey is so much value. And then the 2-dropper lackey is so much tempo. This requires you to have something on the board, but it's only 1 mana. It's good, don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong, it's good. But I'm just trying to size it up versus the other lackeys. I'm just trying to see if they're toning down their lackeys, right? If they're sort of learning from it. And it feels like this is toned down a tiny bit. All right. So that is all the cards, guys. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at all the old cards that are coming back and then try to paint a picture of what the meta is going to be like. Put this over here for now.